Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Anyone has any doubt in regarding your test? Any questions or tests? You can revise your question answers. Have you done that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Everyone, whenever you go to the test, same test list is written. There are the result. Beside that, revision is written. If you click on revision, you will get to know the correct answer for that question. You can see the questions again. You can see the correct answers and what answer you have clicked. Okay. Any doubts anyone has?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I had a doubt in that potassium hydroxide question.
Yeah, potassium hydroxide is. What's the question?
Just a minute.
Yeah, it is used to absorb carbon dioxide. What is the role of potassium hydroxide in this experiment, right? Is that the question?
No, ma'am, there was another question which had this bent tube. I'll just
Yeah,
tell you.
diagram.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm seeing the questions. Yeah, in that one, the partial vacuum is created in the flask. Yes, Bhavya.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in that experiment, the partial vacuum is created.
How does that happen?
That is when this one is there. This is the question.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this question, here it is the potassium hydroxide is placed, and here the germinating seeds are there. Then they respire, the carbon dioxide is produced. So that carbon dioxide, it is taken here by the absorbed by this one. So there is a container is closed. So that means no any extra things will be coming because the other bent tube is placed in a water. So what will happen here? The gas is not able to come from this area. So what is happening here? Air from outside cannot enter. So whatever the air is present, that air will be some amount of that air. How much amount of carbon dioxide is there? That is absorbed by KOH. So amount of gas in this one is decreases.
Yes, ma'am.
Amount of air present in this container will decrease.
Yes, ma'am.
So due to decrease means what happens here?
Yeah,
Partial vacuum. Partial vacuum. It's not full vacuum because only carbon dioxide is taken out. Not all the air is not sucked. Only amount of carbon dioxide is used up by this KOH solution. So therefore there is no, and that carbon dioxide is absorbed, but if the container open, maybe other gases would have entered, but here the container is closed, so no any other gas is coming in. So therefore amount of air in this one reduces. So that means it is a partial vacuum is created. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone, any other doubts you have? No doubts. Medha is the highest. .27 is the highest marks.
Ma'am, I scored 26.
Who is this?
This is me, Bhavya.
Bhavya, yeah, Bhavya, yeah, I have everyone's list. And Roshita, the test is open for one time only. So this is for the new students joined who have a problem. Anyone has a trouble, they only can take it. And whoever has a problem with connectivity, for them, now I will open it again. So you can keep on taking. Once the ranking has been done, after that, I will open it. Then full day, you can check out, you can take your attempts. That will not be over. Okay, after that, you can take it. But thing is once rank. But in that also, the problem happened. That is, Roshita, you have taken the test 2-3 times. So it is once only you have to take the test, and after that you can check the same question answers after this one in the revision part. There is no need of again and again taking the same test. After rank calculation, again rank calculation today there was a problem due to this one student has taken 3 times test. Okay. Fine, from the next time that will be. So this is the actually why we are doing MCQ tests also. That is for your revision. And one thing that is you will start thinking the chapter with different way. For that reason, these MCQ tests are very important. It is not the theoretical way of only learning the by hearting the question answers and writing this on and this one in the exam. That should not happen. There is a due to these MCQ questions. MCQ questions are completely different type of questions. One single answer for that, and you have to think over it more than the descriptive questions. You have to think on this. Exactly one correct option you have to select. So that means for that purpose, you have to start working. You have to start learning the concept. And for that purpose, these MCQ tests are very important. So that is, you will go through those chapters very deeply and start getting the this concept properly. So that is the main aim behind this. So that's the reason this one has been changed. Board has changed the pattern because of that. So that is rote learning process everyone has to eradicate. Mainly what happens, you are only learning at the time of exam. 1 day, 2 day before the exam, you are learning by hearting some of the questions, going and writing in the exam paper. That should not happen. So proper way of intelligence can be checked by this way, everyone thinks. So that is at least you will start working on those chapters properly to answer this kind of questions. Okay. Fine, we will come back to the chapter again. Any doubt till this part? You have this chapter. In this chapter, do you have any doubt? Any problem you have? Do you have any problem?
Systolic and diastolic pressure.
Systolic and diastolic pressure. Okay, there is life process part. Systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Systolic pressure when the in the artery the blood pressure is more. The amount of blood pressure in the artery will not be same. It is changing continuously. It is after every duration or particular duration it will keep on changing. So in that case, when the blood is extra amount of blood is poured into the artery, what will happen? The blood, the pressure in the blood in the artery, the blood pressure will increase. That pressure is called a systolic pressure. And when the pressure in the artery decreases in the next period of a time, the pressure in the artery decreases because the blood is not poured in this one. So in such cases, the pressure is less, and that pressure we call as diastolic pressure. Clear. Now systolic pressure when the blood get poured into the artery, when the ventricle contract. So when ventricles contract, at that time more amount of blood will be poured into the artery, and due to which the pressure is more. And in when the pressure will be lesser, when the blood will not be poured into the artery. So when it will not be poured into the next half cycle, that is when the ventricles are receiving blood. So ventricles are relaxed. At that time, the ventricles are receiving blood from the artery, aortum. So due to which the ventricles are receiving. So they are not, when they are receiving, they are not pouring the blood. So when they are on the receiving end, at that time, ventricles relax. And when the ventricles relax, the blood pressure will be lesser. So that is called as diastolic pressure. So when ventricles contract, the systolic pressure, ventricles relax, that time diastolic pressure.
Okay, ma'am.
It's clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we are going to the revision of that part, I've explained you this part. These are the important points. Fine. Next. Any other doubts anyone has? Okay, no doubts. So yesterday we have started with salts. So salt are the products formed due to reaction between acids and bases. When acid and base react together, they form a compound along with water. So that compound we call as salts. So salts, different types of salts you have seen. There are the different family of salts. That is chloride. When the every salt has a chlorine part is there, negative ion is a chlorine, then that we call as chloride salts, chloride family salts, nitrate family salts, sulfate family, chloride family, iodide family. Then it is nitrate family, carbonate family. So family, that means a group of compounds, group of salts in which that carbonate part is common. So those we call as carbonate family salts. Sodium family, that means the any salt which has a positive ion, sodium is common. That we call as, so that is called as sodium family. Sodium family, sodium positive ion in that salt, sodium is common. So those are called as sodium family members. So sodium family members are sodium salts, sodium family salts. So those are sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. So these are all sodium family salts. Okay. So family of salts, much more you have to learn. One families you have to actually learn in further onwards in chemistry, not in this year. Now further we have to see some 5 salts in common, their properties, some of the uses, important uses of those salts we have to learn. That is, first one is sodium chloride. So first salt we have to learn in detail, that is sodium chloride. Is a chemical name, formula is NaCl, and it is commonly called as common salt. Common salt is a salt which original name or this chemical name is sodium chloride, NaCl. Now it is prepared or obtained. It is not actually prepared. It is obtained from the preparation. If you see preparation, lab preparation, laboratory. It is prepared in the lab by the reaction between HCl, hydrochloric acid, and sodium hydroxide. When react together, they will form NaCl plus H2O. So this way the NaCl is prepared in the lab. Lab we can prepare like this. And second one, it is not possible to commonly, this common salt is has a much more commercial application. So by laboratorically we cannot prepare it, because these two substances are actually prepared from the sodium chloride. So from how sodium chloride is used back to, this can be obtained back to those substances. So therefore here commercially this is obtained. Sodium chloride is found in nature in more quantity in the seawater. So from evaporation of a seawater, we can obtain sodium chloride. So commercial preparation of sodium chloride is done by seawater. Obtained by evaporation of seawater, because seawater consists of more amount of common salt than any other sources. So seawater, by evaporation of seawater on the seabed, water is allowed to stand for some duration. So after some days actually, and then water vapor evaporates out, leaving behind these salts, which is actually the contaminated salt. It will not be only common salt, but maximum quantity of common salt is present in it. So that when we purify that common salt in the factories, now it is further purification has taken place, then common salt and other salt, that impurities has been purified, and by that way we can obtain pure sodium chloride, which is white in color. So characteristic, it is white in color. Crystals of sodium chloride white in color, pure crystals. But what we use it at home, that is iodized common salt. So that iodized common salt means it some amount of iodine is added to the common salt. Reason is, in my childhood time we don't have. Nowadays there is a requirement. Why? There was a one study told that whenever the people have seen, this is just because iodine is important for the body, and there are very less number of our food resources are available, which gives us the iodine part. Iodine is available to us. The amount of things that are present, the iodine sources available to us, which we eat every day, those are very less. So, but iodine is very, very important for us for the thyroxine glands secretion, thyroid glands secretion, because thyroid gland is secretes thyroxine, and that thyroxine consists of iodine. Thyroxine is the compound of iodine only. So, secretion, proper secretion of thyroxine, iodine is necessary. So therefore the regular intake of iodine is very, very important. So for that reason iodine is mixed into the sodium chloride, so that we call as iodized salt, common salt. So that is a mixture. What we eat is a mixture of sodium chloride and some amount of iodine, some percentage of iodine is present in it. So that is a iodized salt, which is a mixture. So this is a one way of getting the seawater. Second way of getting the sodium chloride, and one more way is there, that is from rock salt. It is obtained from the rock salt as well. Obtained by either purifying or without purifying also. This rock salt we are directly using, which is a source of sodium chloride again. It consists of more quantity of a sodium chloride, but along with that some other salts are also available. Those are important for our body also. So directly rock salt also can be obtained. Now what is rock salt? Salt which is available in the form of rocks. In the western region, that is in Rajasthan, Gujarat region, actually it was considered, there are the many rocks are there, just like coal is mined from the underground mines, coal we obtain. The similar way salt also can be obtained by underground mines. There are huge rocks of these salts are available. Now, it was considered that it was earlier that places, the sea was there. Due to some natural calamities, the seawater evaporates out and leaving behind the salt. Then salt, after years, by year, this get converted into rocks. So the salt is available in the form of rock now. So that is the rock salt. Rock salt right now, it is brown or pinkish color. So this salt is pinkish color. We generally use it in our home. If you check with your parents, mother, she will tell you. That is, this is a rock salt. Rock salt is impure salt. It is impurities are there. It is not only a common salt. It is impurities. It's along with the impurities, but it has more quantity of sodium chloride. And it is along with some other salts, which are actually, those ions are necessary for our body. So it is generally considered as healthy. That means along with common salt, we are getting other quantities also, other salts also, which are important. Those minerals are also important for our body. So these are the three ways by which we can obtain sodium chloride. Now where we use the sodium chloride. There are important uses of sodium. This is very important salt. That's the reason it is name itself. It's a common salt. So where we use it, what are the uses, the regular uses? Harshit, I will give you time for writing. So no wait, don't hurry. I will give you the sufficient time to write it down. Yes, uses.
For cooking purposes?
Yes, for cooking, but for what purpose in cooking we are using? What purpose it's this one? For taste, flavoring. So as a used for adding flavor. Adding flavor to the food. Again, what is the other purpose of using it? Someone says
A-
mic is on, can you switch off? Yes, Astitva?
as a preservative in pickles.
Yes, right. It is as a preservatives in pickles we use it. It stops the attack of microorganisms. So used as preservative. preservative in many things. That is some dry fruits. Fruits, when we want to store it for a longer duration, preserve it for a longer duration, that is dry mangoes, gooseberries, even in tamarind, to preserve it for a year. We can wrap that fruits into the salt solution and we dry it. Dried fruits, actually, when we want to preserve, that time we are using this one. Use as a preservative in food. In pickle also we are using it so that it will not get damaged, spoiled. Then ORS solution, that is actually ORS solution has glucose, amount of glucose. Some ions are present, yes it is. Then any other? Manufacturing of soap. Okay, it is used in manufacturing of a soap for actually precipitating the soap. When the soap is prepared, it is used in a soap for separating the soap particles. It is actually colloid. So when it is formed, it is a colloid. So it remains dispersed throughout the solution. So to separate out these molecules of soap, we use the common salt. Used in preparation of many substances. Used in preparation of many chemicals as raw materials. It is used in the preparation of sodium hydroxide. It is used in the preparation of hydrochloric acid. It is used in the preparation of chlorine gas, sodium hydrogen carbonate, baking soda preparation. There are many more preparations are there which can be the raw material. As a raw material, common salt we are using. Okay. So that is one of the use we have to see. It's preparation of sodium hydroxide by using sodium chloride. In detail, they have explained in the textbook. We have to use it. So use of common salt, that is NaCl, in preparation of sodium hydroxide. This is a alkali. So preparation of sodium hydroxide, how we use sodium chloride. Now sodium chloride, that is a brine solution, we have to use it for this purpose. Now what is brine solution? Brine solution is concentrated aqueous sodium chloride. Concentrated aqueous sodium chloride is called as brine solution. So this brine solution is electrolyzed to obtain sodium hydroxide. So you will see that electrolysis process. First write it down. No, Rohit, we cannot use that one.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Completed everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So this is you now here we have to use one of the important use of sodium chloride in the preparation of sodium hydroxide. That is this one. This is done by electrolysis of brine solution. So what is brine solution? Brine solution is a concentrated aqueous sodium chloride. That means we have to dissolve sodium chloride, more quantity of sodium chloride when it is dissolved in a water, that we call as concentrated. So more amount of sodium chloride has to be taken. So more amount of a sodium chloride is dissolved into a water that we call as brine solution. Now we have to pass electric current through it, that is electrolysis will takes place. So for that electrolysis process, so electrolysis container, electrolytic container, we have to take container. It has this is this brine solution. We have to take it in the inside this, and through this we have to pass a electric current through the rods. We have to insert two rods. One is cathode, electrode, two electrodes are there. So these are graphite electrodes made from graphite. These are inert electrodes. In electrolysis are of two types. By using one is inert electrodes, another one by active electrodes. Inert electrodes are those electrodes which do not take part in the reaction happening in that electrolyte. So this solution we call as electrolyte. These two rods are electrodes. The rod which is connected to the negative terminal is called as, what is it called?
Cathode.
Cathode. So the rod which is electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called as cathode, and the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called anode. In the first chapter in electrolysis of water, I have explained you all these things. So in this case, these rods, electrodes are made up of graphite or iron. Then these two are the inert electrodes. That means those electrodes will not take part in the reaction happening in this electrolyte, in this solution. And the another type of the other metal rods when we are using, so those metal rods actually take part in the chemical reaction. They also get involved in the reaction happening inside this. So those electrodes we call as active electrodes. In the third chapter, we have to see the electrolysis by using those active electrodes. So right now we are learning only the inert electrodes. Inert, that means they do not take part in this electrolytic reaction happening inside this container. So now these two are graphite rods which are immersed in this now. So whenever the current is passed through this solution, this is a aqueous sodium chloride. That means it is NaCl and water. It is a combination of NaCl and water is there. So when the current is passed through it, when current is passed, first all the ions get separated. Now what all ions will be there? Na and Cl has two ions. One is positive, sodium, and another one is chlorine ions. And the water also dissociates to form H plus and OH minus ions. So totally there are 4 ions are present, 2 positive ions, sodium and hydrogen, and the 2 negative ions, that is chlorine and OH minus ions. So all the positive ions first come towards the cathode, gather towards the cathode because cathode is negatively charged. So which all the, so this one is there, Na plus ions, and H plus ions. So these are positively charged and sodium is negative, sodium also positively charged. So these gather around negatively charged cathode because opposite charges attract. And the negatively charged ions gather around anode. That is chlorine minus, Cl minus and OH minus. They gather around this because opposite charges attract each other. So Anode being positive charge, it will attract chlorine, negative ions, and cathode being negatively charged attracts all cations, that is positive ions. Now what happens? Which one will gets converted into atom? In this electrolysis process, I already explained you, electrolysis is the reverse of ionization. That means in normally sodium and chlorine, how it is formed? Sodium gets converted. Here ions are present. So ions convert back to atoms. In the process of electrolysis, the ions get converted back to this one, atoms. So in the formation of atoms, now what changes will take place? Now suppose it is here sodium ions and hydrogen ions, which are positively charged. How are they get converted into positive ions? How they have formed the positive ions?
They lose electrons.
They have converted into positive ions by losing electrons. So when positive ion is formed by losing electrons, in the process of electrolysis, now these ions convert back to atoms. That means they again do the reverse process. So in the formation of ions, what they have done, they have lost electrons. Now converting back, what they have to do, the process, reverse process they have to do, that
Gain
is,
electron.
they gain electrons. Now cations gains electron and anions are formed, that is chlorine ion is formed, or OH minus ions are formed by how? Gaining or losing electrons? Chlorine atom gets converted into chlorine ion by
Gaining electrons.
gaining electrons. Now here the reverse process will take place. That means they have already extra ion, they will lose ions. Now there are two ions. How they will, who will gain or who will lose? Or how much this one, H plus and Na plus, both of them are positively charged. So now who will be there will gain electron? The cathodes will provide electrons to only one type of atom, not both of them. So who has to be chosen? So this is again the reverse process of reactivity series. In the reactivity series is formed by probability of, it is ability of losing electrons. Whoever lose electron faster, those are in the topmost level in the reactivity series. But this is now reverse process. So reactivity also works reversely. So that means the elements which are present lower position of the reactivity series will start gaining electrons faster as compared to the topmost electron atoms, sorry, elements. So among Na plus and H plus, who are the lower portion, lower?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen is at the lower position. So therefore hydrogen will gain electron first as compared to sodium. Sodium will not gain electron in this process, only hydrogen will gain electron. So that is a priority list is written. So according to that priority list, sodium is losing electron, so gaining will be tougher for it. Hydrogen is gaining electron slowly as compared to sodium, so gaining will be easier for hydrogen. So at cathode electrode, which reaction taken place? H plus ions gain one electron and converted into hydrogen atom. Process clear? Why it is gaining one electron, is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
one hydrogen atom don't have the special existence, they don't have the single existence. Individually they cannot stay because these are reactive. So therefore the same way another hydrogen atom will be formed. So those two hydrogen atoms combine to form hydrogen gas. So from cathode we can collect hydrogen gas is collected from cathode. Okay. Now the similar way, when anode, in the anode, there is also one reactivity series is there. So according to that, chlorine is at the lower portion in the reactivity series than hydroxide. So here chlorine will lose electron as compared to hydroxide. So at anode, priority gainer is chlorine. So chlorine wins the battle between chlorine and OH minus. Chlorine minus ion, that means it has more electron, it will lose one electron to anode and form chlorine atom. and this chlorine atom also don't have the single existence because these are diatomic gases. Immediately the molecule will be formed with another chlorine atom. So two chlorine atoms combine to form chlorine gas. So thus what happens? From anode we can collect chlorine gas. Chlorine gas is collected from anode. So we obtain hydrogen gas from the cathode. Near the cathode, if we are keeping the containers, so we can obtain hydrogen gas. Here we can collect chlorine gas. Now what are left out in the electrolyte? In the electrolyte, what are the things left out?
Sodium and hydroxide.
Sodium and hydroxide.
So sodium ion was there and the hydroxide ions were there. These two are left out because these can't win the game. So therefore these two finally combine together and forms sodium hydroxide. So this is in the liquid state. So sodium hydroxide is obtained in the electrolyte. So left behind after obtaining hydrogen and chlorine gas, sodium hydroxide left behind. So this is, now here what happens? So how can we write the reaction now? If we want to write the reaction of electrolysis, this is NaCl plus water. This is a brine, so this we call as brine solution. So when the current is passed through it, electric current, we can obtain hydrogen gas at cathode, chlorine gas at anode, and the sodium hydroxide in the electrolyte. So these three products are obtained by mere electrolysis of this sodium chloride. And in this reaction, alkali, that is a sodium hydroxide, is a alkali is obtained along with the chlorine gas. So therefore it is at anode it is obtained. So therefore this reaction has been given a special name, that is chlor-alkali process. This process is called as chlor-alkali process because by electrolysis of brine solution, that is sodium chloride, we will obtain chlorine. We can obtain alkali, that is sodium hydroxide. This reaction is called, therefore this reaction is called as chlor-alkali process. What are alkalis? I have explained
base is
you.
mixed with water.
Bases and
Yes, soluble bases. So all the soluble bases, the bases formed from the higher reactive metals are called alkalis. Sodium hydroxide is one of the alkali. I told you 4 names. Do you remember those 4 names of alkalis? 4 very common alkalis are, the first 4 elements is hydroxides. Hydroxides are first 4 elements of reactivity series. What are those? What are the first
Potassium
4?
hydroxide,
Yes, potassium hydroxide. Second one,
sodium hydroxide,
sodium hydroxide, right? Then
calcium
calcium
hydroxide,
calcium hydroxide and
magnesium oxide.
magnesium hydroxide. So these are alkalis because these bases are soluble in water. So therefore we call them as alkalis. So sodium hydroxide is one of the alkali. So therefore this process is called as chlor-alkali process. Question always asked on this reactions. What question is asked? What is chlor-alkali process? Explain the write the chemical reactions, chemical reaction, and name the gases obtained at cathode and at anode. So here in this reaction, you will lose marks if you don't write electric current in between. If you don't write that electric current, you will not get a single mark also. Because that reaction is important. By only mixing sodium chloride into water, the sodium hydroxide or hydrogen and chlorine will not be obtained. This reaction happens only when the current is passed through it. So if you don't write this condition, then this reaction at least won't take place. This reaction won't take place. So therefore this reaction is very, very important. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So chlor-alkali process, what is chlor-alkali process? What you have to write? When electric current is passed through, electric current is passed through brine solution. Brine solution, you have to write brine solution in bracket. That is, what is it? concentrated aqueous sodium chloride. We obtain chlorine gas and alkali, that is sodium hydroxide. This process is called as chloralkali process. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then write it down. The process clear? They won't ask you this in between reactions. I have explained you this, what happens at cathode and what happens at anode. In the exam, they won't ask this part. But you should know what exactly electrolysis means and what exactly happens, which reaction taken place in this electrolyte. Okay, you already written this one. So start writing from this, and you have to draw the diagram as well. Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you scroll down?
Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, mom.
Everyone, have you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Process clear? Is the process clear
Ma'am,
to
2
you?
minutes.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Done,
Process clear? What is a chloralkali process?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Reaction clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You are not supposed to forget that condition, that is electric current. Just like a water also, in electrolysis of water, current, if you don't write in between the reaction, then no marks will be given. If there's reaction taken place under some specific conditions, and if you don't mention that conditions, the marks will not be given to you. So this way you will keep on losing marks. Actually, you know everything, but if you don't represent it properly, then you will keep losing marks. So therefore, writing part, representation of these answers also is a one skill, and you have to get that skill now, because your papers are not corrected by your school teachers. It is corrected by some other teachers. So he is not knowing you how you are. Your teachers are knowing you, that is how you are. If you have done one mistake, they can consider it, but the other teachers won't know. They don't know you people. So therefore, whatever you have missed something, or you have done some small mistake also, they won't realize it. So they, according to them, what is correct, the right answer, they will give you. Otherwise, if there is a small mistake also, they will keep cutting marks, because the teachers are set for correction is for cutting marks, not to give you marks. Okay. So be very careful for writing any chemical reactions. Fine. Next part is now, first one, this is all about the common salt that you have learned. The common salt is used for next further whatever the salts we are learning in that salts is preparation. Common salt is directly or indirectly used. So there are more 4 salts you have to learn. One is bleaching powder, is a one salt. Next one is baking soda, then washing soda, and plaster of Paris. These 5 salts in detail you have to learn. Detail means what? You have to learn what is its chemical formula, what is its chemical name, how it is prepared, and what are the some uses. The simple first their uses we have to learn in this. So first one is next one, second one after sodium chloride, where the sodium chloride is used indirectly. That is bleaching powder. Bleaching powder is the common name. This one formula is CaOCl2. That is calcium oxychloride. Calcium oxychloride is the chemical name of bleaching powder, CaOCl2. This preparation is, in the preparation of this, chlorine gas, which is obtained by the electrolysis chloralkali process, whatever the chlorine we obtain, that chlorine is used for the preparation of bleaching powder. It is chlorine gas. When chlorine gas is passed through dry slaked lime, it is already a dry, there is no moisture, dry slaked lime. Slaked lime is calcium hydroxide, is in a solid dry state. Then bleaching powder is obtained. Then CaOCl2 is obtained. That is chlorine gas Cl2 is passed through calcium hydroxide, that is slaked lime. Then it will produce CaOCl2, that is bleaching powder, and water is produced. So this is bleaching powder. So bleaching powder is actually the storage unit of chlorine. Bleaching powder don't have any extra function rather than chlorine. So it is actually the storing molecule of the chlorine. Chlorine transportation will be difficult, and use of chlorine in the gaseous form, it was difficult. So therefore, we use chlorine gas in the form of some chemicals. One of the important chemicals by which we can use by which easily we can use the chlorine, that is bleaching powder. So as soon as this bleaching powder is dissolved in water, wherever the bleaching powder is obtained, when we dissolve into water, the chlorine gas is separated. And whatever the work, the bleaching powder, for what purpose the bleaching powder we are using, that is actually done by chlorine gas. It is actually performed by the chlorine gas. So therefore, bleaching powder is considered as a storage unit, storage molecule of chlorine gas. Now, for what purpose we use this bleaching powder? What is bleaching powder main function?
Cleaning our clothes.
Cleaning.
Cleaning our clothes. But actually, what do you mean by bleach process? Bleaching means it is a bleach process.
Making it white.
White, that means?
Bright. Cleaning of
It
the
is always
surface.
written. It is always written on the colored clothes when you purchase any clothes. Inside that there is a one tag. Behind that there is a tag, or maybe sidewise there is one tag is that there. On that tag, if you read it, it is always written, "Do not bleach." It was not written there to bleach it. So why? What is the function of bleach? What the bleach is doing? But still we use bleach. Why?
To remove the colors.
To remove the colors actually. The bleaching means removing colors. Decolorizing the clothes is called as bleaching. Bleaching means decolorizing. So decolorization process. So decolorization, that means any colors are removed by this chlorine. Reaction with chlorine. So chlorine's main function is to react whenever chlorine comes in contact with the any clothes or colored pigments. So colored pigment, that is a pigment which provides imparts the color to the clothes, so or anywhere. So those colored pigments reacts with chlorine and gets converted into some other form. So that means they are not there in their native state. That means they will not impart their original color. So that is decolorization. That means if it is a red color pigment is there, the color pigment, the chemical which is providing the red color, we call as colored red color pigment. So whenever chlorine, that cloth is mixed with the chlorine, bleaching powder, the chlorine gas comes out, and that chlorine gas combines with the color pigment. The color pigment is a chemical, so it will combine with that red color pigments chemical, and it get converted into some other color, other form. Means it's the compound is changed. Now compound is changed means the color is also changed. So color will not be in its original color state. That means the compound is not in the original form. Then how it will give provide its original character? It will not show any original characteristic. And what was the original characteristic? Providing the red color. So therefore, it will not provide now red color. So therefore, the bleaching process, that is a reaction with chlorine, colored pigments reacts with chlorine and gets converted into some other form. So therefore, the color is gone, vanished, that is disappears. That is we call as decolorization. So decolorization takes place due to bleaching. Bleaching means decolorization. So decolorization happens due to the reaction with chlorine. So that is only a process of bleaching. So in clothes, white clothes are only bleached, not any other clothes. The only white clothes are bleached. Generally, our school uniforms are white in color. Earlier it was there. So those are bleached because after the use, the one yellow stain is start forming over. Yellow shade is that white shade get converted into yellow shade due to atmospheric reactions. So that yellowness can be removed by bleaching. So therefore, bleach is used for white clothes only, not for any other clothes. Otherwise, that color fades away. So therefore, we use the bleaching powder for that purpose. That is not the only one place we are using. For the clothes, we use it. In the synthetic clothes also, before dyeing, synthetic clothes when they are prepared from the different chemicals. So before dyeing them, they have been converted into white color first, and then only the dyeing will be properly done. So before dyeing, the synthetic clothes are also bleached by using bleaching powder. Even in paper industry also we use bleach. Papers are made from the wood pulp. So that wood pulp has a different dirty color, translucent turbid color. So that color also removed with the help of bleaching it. So bleaching the wood pulp is also the function of bleaching powder. In the paper industries, for that purpose, we are using the bleaching powder. As well as bleaching powder, you have seen it is used in swimming pools or the water purification tank for disinfecting the disinfecting water. So all the germs can be killed by when they are comes in contact with the chlorine gas. So as a disinfectant, we use the chlorine gas.
Ma'am, it is
And
also used for
oxidizing agent. It also works as a oxidizing agent because it gives out, it is a rich source of oxygen. So as soon as chlorine gas, when calcium oxychloride, bleaching powder, when dissolves in water, chlorine gas separated, and along with that the oxygen gas also separated. So it is a good source of oxygen. So therefore, it can be used for oxidizing any other substances. So therefore, works as strong oxidizing agent.
Ma'am, it is also manufactured in chloroform.
Chloroform. Yeah, preparation of chloroform, we use chlorine itself. Many other chemicals are there. In the preparation of those, we use it. Bleaching powder is used. So these are the important uses. Bleaching wood pulp, bleaching clothes, bleaching synthetic clothes before dyeing as a strong oxidizing agent and for disinfecting water. It's clear? So these are the important uses of it. So we will write in next class. You only write this much things. We'll start maths now. Uses we'll write tomorrow.